These are perfect color. Today I'm gonna make banana fritters. I'm starting off with 3 medium bananas, or you can use 2 large ripe bananas. The riper the bananas, the less sugar you use. These are not overly ripe, but they are very ripe. I'm gonna use a half of a cup of sugar. The half cup is in here. I'm using brown sugar. I'm using a 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon powder and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using a half of a teaspoon of salt. Salt is very important in these sweet dishes because if you don't use salt, you will have this very flat sweet taste, but not really sweet. So salt is very important. And I'm using about a half a teaspoon of grated nutmeg, freshly grated nutmeg. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just, you know, explore and try new things, try new measurements, and make the dishes your own. I'm gonna crush all of this together with a fork. So as you continue to crush the bananas and the sugar melts, it will become very soft and more liquefied. So you don't add any water at all. Don't add any water. It's just the banana and the sugar and the spices I showed you. So just look for the lumps. Where you see the lumps of banana, and you just crush that all out. This is how it looks. Mix it all up. So I'm gonna add the flour, starting with half a cup at a time until I get the consistency I want. So that's the first half a cup of flour. I'm using all-purpose flour. So you mix this in until there are no lumps. You can also use a whisk. I'm gonna use a spatula to get the flour from the edges. Fold it in. You can also use a little baking powder if you want, but I'm not gonna use any. It makes it more airy, but it also lets it absorb more oil, and I don't want that. I like my banana fritters crispy on the outside. If you add eggs, they will not be crispy on the outside, and I don't like that. I like them when they're crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. So I need, some people let it stay here at this consistency, so you will get like a flatter banana fritter. So you could try that and see what it is like. So I'm gonna add some more flour now. I'm gonna add the second half of a cup of flour, but I won't add everything. I will add it gradually, because you know every banana is different, so you can't just say you're gonna add a specific amount of flour. Even with the sugar, every banana has a different amount of sweet. I'm gonna show you. You can also use a whisk if you want. So I'm using the whisk because I'm not using any baking powder, so I want it to be a little lighter. So I'm gonna use the whisk and whisking some. I'm gonna use the whisk and whisking some air. And also, I'm gonna add just a little bit more flour, not too much. I don't want them to fall back down too much when I'm mixing, because that will show how it will behave in the frying pan. So I just want it to have a little height to them. I don't want them too flat or too flat, you know. Add just a little bit more. Okay, so this is what I wanted to have a little body to it. So I will have more control over it in the pot. Okay, when you're going to make your banana fritters, you have to ensure that the oil is hot, but you don't want it too hot because they will burn easily. Just as our plantains burn easily, they will burn easily. But then if the oil is too cold, they will absorb a lot of oil. So I'm putting a little bit in there just to test it. When it turns brown, I will start to add the fritter batter. Okay, so this is turning a little brown. So I like that heat because I don't want them to get too dark too quickly either. So what I do, if you want you can use a measuring spoon also if you want a consistent size of the fritters. You don't have to. Up to you. I'm not gonna make them too big. So these are one of my favorite snacks. You can have them for breakfast too. You can have them with eggs or anything, or on the side like how you would have like plantains on the side. But the thing with banana fritters, you want the inside to be cooked properly. So what I do, I cover them in between, but you have to keep wiping off the water on the pot cover from off the lid, because then if you don't do that, it will start to splash all over the place. So I'm gonna cover that, and I'll time it and let you know how long it stayed before I turn them. This is what they look like about 3 minutes after. I don't want them, I'm not yet ready to turn them. I want them to get a little bit browner, and I want the middle to be a little more firmer, because if I don't do that, then it's gonna mess up the fork when I'm turning them. Okay, this is 4 minutes after. Gonna turn them now, and you see these little bubbles start to form on the side. And actually, even I haven't used any baking powder, but they still raise up just a little bit. Okay, this is 3 minutes after. So once I turn them again, I won't put back the cover on top of it. I just wanted it to be enough to cook them thoroughly through. So now I'm just gonna let them brown to the color I want. Okay, I'm gonna turn them. It is about 3 minutes after. Remember, it's on a, you can turn down the stove a little at this point because they will burn very easily. So on a little higher than low, so they will burn very easily. So you have to keep your eyes on them now. So this is the color you want them to have, this beautiful golden brown color. So I want them to be just a little bit darker. You could take them out now, but I want them just a little bit darker. These are the perfect color I want. So don't put too many in the pot at once. This is a very small fry pan though. So remember, don't put too much oil to cover them. Just enough oil to be about halfway up on the fritters. These are done. And the best thing about frying these fritters, the smell. The house smells so sumptuous. Okay, I'm taking them out now. And you have to take them out and put them on some absorbent paper or some napkins. So as you can see, they absorb a lot of oil. They're oily in a way, but once you put them on the absorbent paper, most of that oil will come out. So I'm gonna do the others now. Okay, I have a little bit left back. I'm on my third batch. I should have had 8 in here, but I ate 3 of them because I just couldn't resist them. As I said, they're one of my favorite snacks. So when I finish the rest, I'll be able to take my pick and then, but please try them. You will never ever regret it. So they have a chewy taste. So if you want them to have more of a less chewy taste, you could add maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So that's what